Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Burning Briefs. I'm your host, Class, and I'm doing another one solo. Yeah. So today I want to talk about what podcasts I listen to, because I feel like we don't have an open discussion about podcasts, and I don't think a lot of people listen to it, or maybe they're barely starting to listen to it, which is cool, but it gives us an opportunity to talk about podcasts that we haven't probably never heard of. For example, I have the Jimmy Dore Show. It's kind of like a far liberal kind of podcast where they talk about a lot of stuff, but they also do comedy. He's a comedian as well, so he does like comedy skits on that where he does voiceovers. Like he pretends to be like he has voiceovers where he pretends someone is being like Joe Biden or Vince Vaughn. It's so funny, so I love listening to his stuff. I recently heard like a voiceover of Brad Pitt, and it is so funny how they did that one. I can't believe I keep saying So, there's also other podcasts. If you're not really into like politics stuff, there's also like, okay, for example, I'm not really, as you can tell, if you can't tell, maybe you're not aware, maybe you're just hearing my voice. I am not an African American gentleman. So, I'll let you, if you don't know the video, if you haven't watched my videos and you're just hearing this on my podcast, then I'm just going to leave my ethnicity as a mystery, but I'm not African American. We can eliminate that one. But so I don't really know exactly what, anything about, being African American. I do understand some of the relatable struggles, but I'm not obviously, black. So I decided, I want to get involved listening to something. So I listened to a little bit of hip hop because I'm a hip hop person, and it's not because of any race thing. It's just because I love lyrics, I love the beats, I love everything about it. So I decided I'd listen to a hip hop station, which was called The Breakfast Club, and The Breakfast Club has Charlemagne the God. You got DJ Envy, and you got, I forget her name. I'm gonna get my butt handed to me about this, but she was gone for a little while. They kept announcing her name, but she was gone for a little while, and then she came back, and now they're doing this whole they're doing their radio thing and podcast as well. So I can't remember her name though. They're gonna hate me for this. I remember the guy's name, but I can't remember the girl's names. What's wrong with you, man? And then there's like other shows like Good For You with Whitney Cummings. She's a comedian as well, if you're not familiar with her work. But she likes to talk about like mental health issues and all that stuff. And she has a lot of interviews with great hosts in there. And she has also this guy named Benton, who's also pretty funny too. And I mean, their show is interesting. I will say that I do not, and this has probably been a big factor in everyone's criticism about her in some essence, but I don't like that she always interrupts her guests. Like, it's one thing when you do it rarely, occasionally, you got to catch yourself doing that, because I feel like I want to hear what they have to say, and then she just kind of wants to jive in. It's almost like she's having an interview being done for her. And I think she doesn't realize she needs to switch that role up. Like, she's like, I need to just kind of keep my opinion in and just let me hear what this person has to say first, and then I'll share. Like, I think that's because for me, I've learned. I guess you have to learn that, because for me, I've learned that. I've learned about that kind of like way of like, you got to let them talk first, wait a moment, and then get to share your opinion. Now, not everybody is like that. Not everybody is all about sharing their opinion in that way. Some people have rather just kind of like just jive in because they have something they want to say. They have something very important that they need to get out. Otherwise, if they don't, they're going to forget it. And I agree. I know that feeling. Sometimes I'm excited about something. I want to say something. I want to spew it out. And sometimes I interrupt and I feel real rude about it, because I feel like we have to be able to engage in a conversation with each other in a way where one of us can say something and the other one can just listen for a moment. Even though you may not want to hear what they have to say, just be able to kind of give them a moment to listen to and then rebuttal after. Now, I know it can be hard because you're trying to keep the memory of that, but if it really bothers you that much, you'll have that kind of really held in there, until you decide to show your rebuttal. That's just what I'm throwing out there. Because you're probably thinking like the next thing they're going to say is probably going to be much worse, and then you're going to have to like dive in even more further and different, and then you're not going to remember what you were going to have a conversation about before. It's all that old thing. Anyways, side point. But I do love her show. I think it's great. I think she's great. Even though she interrupts, I still love her. I still love her conversations with these people, and these people having to be able to be open and engaged to have these conversations with her. I love Joe Rogan's podcast. I'm not even like a UFC fan. I'm not a like I'm not a gun guy. I'm not all that other stuff. But Joe Rogan is like a mixture of that. He's like a martial artist. He's like commentator, a comedian. He's a gun. He loves guns. He's not like a huge guy, but he loves cars, all that stuff. So he's like a very diverse person. That's why everybody loves listening to his podcast, because he's not just gonna take anyone's stuff, and he also gives you kind of like a broad expansion. And he actually kind of, I know he likes to say this a lot, where he's like, I'm stupid, I'm done. I feel like that's just a way to kind of like be able to say, oh, I can say something without seeming like I don't know what I'm talking about, or be able to say something and know what I'm talking about. But, if people get offended by it, I can just use I'm dumb, I don't know anything about it. He's smart. He's just, obviously trying to keep it humble, which is good in an essence, because some things like that need to be in podcasting that way, and that's why he's so big. He's so huge right now, and that's why he got the Spotify deal and all that. Who else is there like that I listen to a podcast? I listen to Nick Offerman and his wife, I think Bedtime or something like that. I can't remember the name. Dax Shepard's. I listen to that a little bit. I'm not, Dax Shepard is actually, I love his voice. He's very interesting. But, those are one of those like reminiscence about more personally about him engaging with somebody about personal stuff, like a personal ideology in their own, like his personal experience with their personal experience, or like in their relatable sense, like why they're important to him. And that's good and all, but I feel like, not really always going to want to listen to stuff like that. But that's just me. I'm not saying that he's not doing a great job. He's doing a great job. Everybody on their podcast is doing a great job. I barely just got into this damn thing. So I'm not going to say I know anything about doing a successful podcast. I'm not going to shame any of these guys. I'm just throwing opinions, just throwing what I feel about it. Not like I'm saying that this is the way you got to do it. This is the way you got to. What the hell do I know? But these are the podcasts I listen to because it kind of keeps me going. In my job, I move a lot, and sometimes you're left with just your thoughts, and you want to listen to music, but music gets tired after a while. So I like to listen to the conversing with people, like talking about different ideas, different opinions. Even if it's not my opinion, I love listening to it because it gives us a chance to kind of grow and maybe see something we've never seen before. That's how I feel about it. So that's why I listen to podcasts. Podcasts are fun. I think maybe you guys should listen to some of these podcasts. Just listen to a podcast. You never know. I listened to an ASMR video once, and at first I was very skeptical because I was like, what is this? It's just people making noises on video camera. This is like on with a mic. I don't understand this. And at first I laughed at it and joked about it, but my wife is actually working as an ASMR person, and she showed me a different side I've never known before about ASMR. Like, I didn't know that this actually helped people with anxiety. Sometimes it helps people relax, helps people sleep. And I realized I was like that too. I like to listen to, what are those called? Like this, for example. If you're hearing this, there's like a river playing in the background. I like to listen to that, or like the highway. I know there's probably no highway sound yet. At least crossing my fingers for one day there will be, where you would drive on the road and you just hear the road. That sound. That's my jam. That's my sleeping. That's my jam. I probably got that when I was a baby. Maybe my mom drove me around on the block. Maybe that's why I love it. It's just something so comforting about driving in a car and not being the driver and just like sitting in the back. And I remember I used to be able to look up in the windows and the stars, and it just felt so good, and the sound really just took you in. Like, I love that. That's why I listen to water sounds and stuff, because the natural stuff sounds so pleasant to me. But obviously some things are going to sound real annoying after a while, like a bird chirping and all that. But yeah, that's why I listen to it. So I realized that ASMR is the same as this. It's listening to sounds, but only in different ways. Maybe some people like the sound of crunching. Maybe some people like the sound of chewing. Maybe some people like the sound of snapping. Maybe some people like the sound of people opening boxes. Like, there's so many options there, I'm telling you. And if you guys give a chance, go watch Miss Pie ASMR on YouTube. She has all the great videos for gum chewing. It's amazing. It's fun, and she really does diverse with her audience or her viewers. So I would really recommend you guys watch her and listen to her. She's awesome. She'll put you to bed. She's put me to sleep a couple times with the sound of it. Other than that, I guess that's really all I'm going to really talk about for today. I just wanted to talk about the podcasting because I want to talk about how diverse we can be about certain things. I'm sure there's other podcasts out there that we can listen to. There was this other podcast that I listened to from Breakfast Club that was going to be introduced. And it's like these two hosts who have been around for a while, but they're from like the streets. Now, I'm not a streets guy. I don't know anything about the projects. I know nothing about no gang members, none of that stuff. But it is intriguing to find out where these people come from, what they went through, how it went to be. Even if maybe some of the stories might not be legit, you never really know. You got to give somebody a chance to explain their side, whoever it is. Even if it's a criminal, you got to give them a chance. The thugs, you got to give them a chance. You never really know what they're going through. Maybe they needed to feed their family. Maybe it's all they got. Maybe they can't get a job. Maybe they're tired of getting stereotyped. There's a lot of things. There was a riot, a looting, after a poor African American kid, got a knife and got shot and all that stuff. It was crazy. But people looting it's not healthy either. I'm just gonna throw that out there. But ending on that note, if you guys like this, you know what to do. Just share, subscribe to the channel, and hopefully when I finally actually have an app for where I'm gonna put this, I'm going to let you guys know, and this probably be in the audio recording of that app, so that'd be pretty funny. Anyways, I'm going to catch you guys later, all right? Peace.